life nightmare. Push all your dreams, a demon preys on the weak. You better watch out for me. Mistakes were made, you will see. You should've never crossed me, cause now you'll never stop me. Revenge was my calling, now you're a dead man walking. And I'll haunt your nightmares. Little did you know that I like fear. When you turn, I'll be right there. You should be afraid, you should be scared. We're all alone, you're on your own. It's you and me who's going home. Look up, cause I'm...
Konnichiwa. Hello and welcome to the Marko Yamashita Show. I am your host, Marko Yamashita, and if you are new to the broadcast, I am a variety VTuber who does a variety of things, from doing commentary of various things in the VTuber world to playing video games, so on and so forth. As of late, I have been covering various things that have been happening in the VTuber world, which have unfortunately been sad. And tonight I am doing something a little unexpected, because I had initially planned to do a analysis piece on the response video that Reina Sun from Production Kawaii had done in response to the graduation announcement of Generation 3. And Generation 1, Charlotte Suzu, made a comment towards me in response to the tweet announcement that I was going to do an analysis of that video. And it is what you currently see on the screen here right now. Now, before I get started, I want to add a little bit of context to what she has said, okay? So Charlotte basically says, "Hi, unless you this is an apology video on your part for the unacceptable toxic way you behaved in my streams and towards me back in 2021 before you moved on to the next emoto type VTuber to try to get close to. Don't put this or anything else in my tags." And then she adds later on, apparently 2 minutes later, that you are free to make whatever video you want. And I kind of assume that she probably thought about what she just said, because Charlotte kind of does this after she does an initial kind of reaction. And anyways, she said that you're free to make whatever video you want, talking about whatever you want, not trying to silence you. Then this is pretty much her trying to cover her own butt on what she just said. But you, of all people, and this is where the butt comes in, because, you know, she's trying to make a point here, okay? But you, of all people, should never be putting anything in my tags after the way you acted. Having at least that level of respect towards me and slash my fans. Now, I want to go back to basically what happened in 2021, okay? Now, if you are new to my channel and new to me as a person, I lost my mother to cancer in 2021. Okay, I lost my mother to cancer in October. Gosh, I gotta count back now. It's 2023 now. So I lost my mother to cancer in October of 2021. Okay, I watched her die of cancer. She had wasted away of cancer for 7 years. Her request to her family, to me and my father, was that she begged us not to put her in a hospital because she did not want to die alone. Okay? That was her only request, that she would not die alone. She did not want to die looking at a ceiling and four walls of a place that she did not know, or around nobody, and at best strangers that she didn't even know. She wanted to at least have one of us nearby at all times. That was her only request, right? And as hard as that was, it was extremely hard on both of us. My dad is worse than I am. I am at least, young enough to be able to start bouncing back from this. My father is still struggling mentally over this. Okay? So, and I have to check on him just to make sure that he is still okay and actually taking care of himself, because, if he shows any signs that, he's given up on life, I mean, basically, that's it. But otherwise, it's like, I don't have anybody to turn to on this whole thing. So I have literally been struggling on this by myself. I don't have anybody to turn to, a shoulder to cry on, so to speak, or anything else like that, right? Now, I preface that to say this, okay? I informed Charlotte that my mother had passed and that I was flying so we could move her remains to bury her. And she gave me the meh treatment. All right. And so I kind of went off on her. When you are not in the right frame of mind because you're dealing with a very tragic loss of life, you're not going to think logically or straight. I don't care who you are. And unless you have other people around you to help control that kind of reaction, you're going to lash out. And that's exactly what I did. Was my behavior 100% good or correct or accurate or professional or positive or whatever you want to say 100% of the time? No. I will admit to that. Am I going to apologize for that? Sure. You want an apology for it? Whatever I did that apparently you still hold a grudge about 2 years later, if you want an apology, here's your apology. Whatever I did that you think I've done to you, I apologize. That being said, for you to sit here and think for 1 second that me being a flawed human being does not give me the right to look objectively at something another human being is doing to someone else when they're treating them unfairly, and be able to speak out on their behalf when they cannot speak, because you know damn well that they can't speak on their behalf. This is not only extremely immature, but unprofessional and childish. The very fact that you took the headline of my title of my video and automatically jumped to the conclusion, hey, he's automatically going to prove that we're gaslighting the fans that are listening. I need to badmouth him in order to discredit him. Makes you and Project Kawaii look even more sus. Because there are, and there still are, a lot of valid points that Reina said that I am going to go over, and I am going to show to everyone who tunes in and say, look at what she said, compare it to what the official release says. Does it match up? There's a lot that does. There is some that doesn't. Those discrepancies we will talk about. That being said, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the subscription. I appreciate that. But I want you to understand, little Charlotte, as well as everyone else that is watching, I want you to understand one thing, and one particular thing that I want you to carry with you in mind, okay? Number one, I don't have anything against you, Charlotte. I never have had anything against you. You can be whoever you want to be. The only hope I've ever had for you is that I started realizing the person that you were and you are by the way you reveal yourself and the comments that you make and the way that you actually talk and reveal the personality behind the character that you portray. And I kind of feel sorry for you, because the lack of empathy that you have towards other people, the lack of moral integrity that you have towards other people, and the lack of general and awareness of your own surroundings makes me feel like you have a lot of life that you either have chosen not to live or experience, and so you don't understand how to deal with those things. And if you're going to be out in front of other people, you need to understand how to deal with those things and deal with them in a manner that you take care of the immediate issue in front of you, and then you're able to move everything along into the grander picture. Mori Calliope did that when she talked to me. Roboko-san did that when she talked to me, when she wrote back to me. Mel from Hololive did that when she wrote back to me. Alice, she had wrote multiple times when she didn't have to, and got in trouble with her manager, telling me that her channel was a safe haven that I could always come to and always come back to, and she'll be there waiting for me. And you know what? None of these ladies asked me for money. None of them were like, oh yeah, and by the way, I am trying to raise money for my channel, or it would be nice if you do throw me some change my way, that kind of thing. I just typed in either their comment section or whatever. I was like, I've been going through a hard time. I sat with my mom for 7 hours. She's in pain. There's nothing that the doctors can do. I had a 2-hour break, and so I tuned in and watched you for 2 hours. I really appreciate it. You know, and they wrote back. I had Mel write back in English, man. I mean, she took the time to try to write back in English, and it blew me away. I mean, you don't have to do that kind of thing. It's because of Hoshinon, a girl that actually, likes the fact that I treat her like a little sister, by the way, even though she's not my little sister. And Ankaro, it's because of them that I started trying to learn how to communicate in Japanese. And they try to communicate to me in English. Hoshinon writes back to me in English. I try to write to her as much as I can in Japanese. But, they are that emoto VTuber type that you're talking about here. But I won't put them in any of your tags, okay? I promise you that. But I digress. Going back to what you said, every single person I had just listed helped me through that trauma I went through in one way or the other. Kasane, Ankaro, Hoshinon, all three of them I play games with on a regular basis. Well, not so much Ankaro right now because she's working her butt off trying to afford just to live. But hopefully she'll be back here this spring. And we play games together. That's it. And then we talk. That's all I ever wanted from you. And every time I tried to tell you, you're letting your fanboys have 5 turns, and some of us are still waiting for our first turns, you got mad at me. You're like, oh yeah, we can start letting people have their 5th turn now in Super Smash Brothers. And I'm like, hey, yo, wait, there's like 20 of us that still are trying to get in for our first turn. And you got mad at us. And I remember distinctly, I told you, you just lost 20 people. Your viewer count dropped by 20 people because they gave up trying to get in because you neglected them. Oh, and by the way, I do want to give a shout out to all your fanboys. Charlotte, I do want to give a shout out to your fanboys here who be like, your opinion plus what you're talking about equals you'll never you'll never make it as a YouTuber. I don't give a flying fuck if I become popular as a VTuber. I don't do this to become popular. I do this to be me. If I make it as a VTuber because I'm being me, then I'm gonna make it as being me. I'd rather make it as me being me than me being that some fake ass whatever trying to simp off of the lowest form of life out there, and snatching the nickels and dimes of people that are the scum of the earth. Like all the scumbags that be all, writing trash, at me on Twitter. By the way, that this be a good example of your kawaii fans here. Take it in. Yeah, if you want to be one of this, yeah, well, good for you. Oreo, Ohio. Umberto, Ohio. Alvin. I think we need to lay down and move on. It's already been done. Look, there is one thing that, well, actually, there's a couple things that has to be said about what happened with Kawhi and what's happening with Kawhi right now. The main thing that I want to say about it, I'll be saying tomorrow. All right. But this apparently, this is personal. All right. This is kind of like one of those moments where, like how the Annies went after me with the whole Rusia thing. And so I was like, hey, the Annies want to call me out. Here I am. Have at me, right? This is kind of like the same thing. The only difference is if Charlotte wants to sit here and say, if you're gonna make a video, then it better be you apologizing for the way you act. Put the entire reason why, and the circumstance of why things went down the way they went down. I was grieving. I had lost my mother, man. I was in pain and misery. I had literally lost one of the only remaining people in my family. That may not mean much to a lot of people anymore. Family may not mean a lot of things to people anymore. Most people look at it like, old people now, and old people in your family are like, hey, I'm just gonna put you in a hospital and leave you there to die, or a group home or a nursing home or whatever. And they're like, yeah, you're old, you're 70 now, I'm gonna put you in the home, and when you die, yeah, I'll bury you. Maybe I'll come visit you twice a year. But you know what? To a Japanese person, family's family. Asian people, traditional Asian people, we still honor and cherish our family. No one should die alone. No one should die alone. I don't care who you are. No one should die alone. And here's the thing. Most people who be hating on me right now are making comments like this. Even Charlotte. Most people have never experienced loss like I experienced it. Maybe they have when COVID hit. Maybe. But most people have never experienced loss that close to home. If you have not experienced loss that close to home, where it's your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your husband, your wife, or your kid, if you have not experienced that, you have no room to talk about how I acted during that time frame. Because you don't know how it feels to just be suffering and looking for somebody, anybody, to tell you something to take the pain away just a little bit. And then to have someone like Charlotte, who you look to be a little beacon of light for a few hours, go, meh. How would you feel? You just saw your dog or cat get creamed by a car. All right? And you love that dog or cat. I mean, you loved them. I mean, they were your entire world. They were there when you got home. You raised them from a pup or a kitten, whatever. And you just saw them get run over and they're dead. I mean, you just got back from, the vets or whatever, from disposing of their body, and your best bro comes over, or your best friend or whatever. Hit, yo man, you want to go out? You want to go hang out? And you're like, man, I am not in the mood right now. Come on, man, let's go. They're like, no, seriously, man, I'm not in the mood right now. It's like, why? Because you lost your pet? I mean, come on, man. It's just a dog, just a cat. Go buy another one. They're like $30. How would you feel? Really, how would you feel? That's no comparison to a family member, but how would you feel? Would you be pissed off? Just a little bit? Just a little bit? I mean, just a little bit at your friend? I would be just a little bit pissed off at that person, right? Or how about this? All right. You've been planning a trip for months, right? You've been planning a trip for months. You're gonna be going to this nice place, this nice resort or whatever, with all your friends. You've been planning this whole thing for months, and your friends have all been saying, yeah, this has all been planned, it's all been booked, it's all been ready. You just gotta show up and everything like that. Make sure you bring your money with you, and everything like that. Everything's all been prepaid. You show up, and they're like, oh, we don't have a ticket for you. And you're like, what? How could that happen? And you're like, okay, well, I'll just go buy a ticket. But, there ain't no tickets available. And they're like, oh, sucks to be you. And then they go without you. Hey, how would you feel, man? How would you feel? That's exactly how it felt to be part of Charlotte's community back then. Both when it came to games and when it came to when my mother passed away. And so, yeah, I reacted. I may have overreacted. I may have acted wrong. And again, if you felt like I acted inappropriately, which I probably did. Honestly, I don't remember, because that entire year, I felt like I was just going through motions. I was just trying to find my way through, because, I mean, when you go through bereavement and loss, and you're grieving over a family member that badly, you don't remember what you're doing most of the time. And a lot of times, you're just like trying to get through the day. And if you have not lived through that kind of pain, you're not going to understand until you go through it, because that kind of literal insanity is not something that you can easily comprehend. Okay? You may not think it's an excuse. You may not think it's appropriate. You may not think that, what I'm saying is justifiable. Fine. That is your right to think that way. However, I will tell you right now, when you are standing in the same exact shoes, going through that exact moment when you lose somebody that is a family member or is part of you or part of your life at that level, you will then start understanding what I'm talking about. Or when you lose a pet that's been in your life for 10, 15 years, and then you suddenly lose them, you will understand that feeling of loss, and you will start understanding you'll start gaining that understanding of what it's like to have something or somebody there, and suddenly they're gone. And that vacancy in your life, that vacuum, is consuming. And it can drive you insane. And I'll admit it. I have no shame in admitting that kind of void inside of me, I was trying to fill with anything and everything I could find. And part of that was, and still to an extent is, the people that I meet online. That includes the people that I meet, like Charlotte, other VTubers, other listeners. Because you know what? I came to realize that the loss I have of my mother is an opportunity for me to begin caring about other people. And to begin sharing the fact that I want to be able to interact with other people. I want to be able to enjoy the hours I'm spending watching other people, or being able to interact with other people. That is why I am streaming, so I can interact with you. That is why I try to actively participate with as many VTubers as I can, because I want to be able to spend as much time being able to do something with the people that I'm watching, because I value that time with them. And I will say with all sincerity, I consider every single, and this I said it as a joke at the time, but I mean it now. I do consider every female VTuber that I come across, I do consider them like Emotos to me. Because number one, 99.9% of every female VTuber out there is going to be younger than me. All right? That's just going to be a fact. Number two, I treat them like that because, if I enjoy their content, I am going to spoil them like I would spoil my own little sister if I had one. That's just plain simple. And, I would hope that, if they were my real little sister, that they would appreciate me spoiling them. And if not, and that makes them feel uncomfortable, I've always told them, tell me, I'll stop. Unfortunately, one of them decided to, I guess, take a significantly more aggressive route, which led to a very significant and unfortunate different path. And that's a different story for a different time. But regardless, Hoshinon really appreciates it because it helps support her channel. She really appreciates it. Ankuro really appreciates it because she's, been really struggling with her finances. Ame-chan, she really appreciates it because, I'm one of the only English speaking people in her audience that, actually tunes in for her, and not just because, I want her to try to make her say or do something lewd. And I actually play games with her, and I try to pitch in as much as I can for her. So it's not like I sit here and I'm like, oh, look, another lolly. I'm gonna go hit that up. I mean, is that what you really think, Charlotte? I mean, come on, girl. You're thinking a little too highly of yourself, aren't you? Honestly, I thought you were cute. I showed your picture to my mother before she passed, and she thought you were cute. And, first impressions, I thought you were, actually kind of more sincere than you were. And then you started showing that other side of you, and it quickly started souring my impression of you. And all truthful and honest opinion, I would have stopped supporting you a long time ago if it wasn't for your then older sister, Usagi Sensei. But I had spent 2 months trying to prep her to get her ready to do that collab with you. I prepped her. I prepped her despite the fact that my mother was dying on me. I actually took time out of my own schedule to do that for you. So I wanted her to be as prepared as possible because she was trying so hard to reach out to you. I'm fine. It makes me mad. It really makes me mad that what makes me upset about this whole situation the most, okay, is that Production Kawaii is supposedly owned by a Japanese organization, right? So they're Japanese owned, Japanese affiliated, and these are English VTubers, right? But they're still representing a Japanese company. But they're allowing their English VTubers to act this way, even though they're now pushing the entire idol angle. Now, it begs the question in my mind, either one, they're pushing the idol angle, but they are not conforming they're not going to make them conform to the Japanese archetype of what an idol actually is, or two, their managers are just allowing them to run amok and let them do and say whatever the hell they want, with little to no regard to how it damages their own company. And it makes me upset because, I'm sorry about. I guess I'm gonna have to go into a little bit of what I was gonna say about Reina. Okay. Charlotte was the one that literally caused me to just nope out of watching Kawaii completely. All right. However, after I had canceled all my support for Production Kawaii, there was one person I continued to follow, and that was Reina. I wasn't actively part of her community. Wasn't an active member of hers or whatever, but I still had a subscription to her channel, and every once in a while I would pop in on her stream when there wasn't anything else I particularly wanted to watch during that time frame, because out of everyone in Production Kawaii, especially Gen 1, I always liked tuning into Reina. Reina, to me, Reina, I always picked Reina over Nene. I mean, that was just my particular taste. If there was anybody in Production Kawaii, I would have chosen as what's that 2D girlfriend archetype type, whatever the hell it's called. It would have been Reina. It definitely would have been not Suzu. I would have not ever. No. No. And Nene is too fluffy and up in the air for me, too bubbly for me. But Reina was always like, the type that I would have chased. Even in real life, I probably would have chased after somebody like Reina over anyone else. Anyways, so I bring Reina up because, in my opinion, I think I can trust what Reina says to give me the most objective point of view from a talent standpoint as to what they feel happened, even if it isn't the clearest picture of what actually happened. And you have to bear in mind that when somebody is telling or attempting to retell what actually happened, they're gonna try to fill in gaps with what they perceived happened, and when that happens, that they tend to try to paint a picture based upon partial imagination and not necessarily facts. We've heard them say over and over and over again, that management spent 12, 18 hours a day working with Generation 3, trying to make things right. But then in the same exact sentence, Reina also said that, management was also working on, getting their first live event together, trying to get their 3D models together, working on their covers, doing this, doing that. Well, you can't be working on all those things and trying to fix whatever it is that Gen 3 is complaining about all at the same time. It's physically not possible. You have to prioritize what you're working on, and if you're going to be trying to work on saving, your own staff from walking out on you, you're not going to be trying to work on those projects while holding meetings with those particular sets of staff or those staff members, or much less trying to negotiate whatever it is that they're asking for. You're not gonna split your attention on those things. You're either going to prioritize saving, whatever it is that the staff is demanding, or you're going to work on those projects that take precedence because, they're upcoming on the horizon, and they're with the staff that is guaranteed that's still going to be there with your company. You know what I'm saying? So. Can you talk about something that makes you happy? Well, see, that that's the thing. I definitely can. I definitely can. This is this stream is primarily dedicated to the fact that Little Miss Charlotte did call me out. But hang on 1 second here. Look. I want to preface the end of this response, and I know it's been a long response. I've already talked for 45 minutes. But I'll preface the end of this response by saying this. Okay, I do, and I still do believe that that Charlotte, Reina, Issa, and Nene Gen 1. I don't, and I want to make this clear. I don't know enough about Gen 2 to form an honest opinion of them. I've barely been able to watch any of Gen 2 because I was just starting to get into Gen 3, and I had regularly been watching them, but I never was able to catch Gen 2. The last 4-5 months I was watching Gen 3, but I'd never had a chance to watch Gen 2, so I don't know enough about them to make an opinion. But I know enough about Gen 1 because I was with most of them since near the beginning, not at their debut, but near their debut. Okay. I know that they are all extremely talented. Okay. I also know that being a VTuber myself, talking to countless VTubers, and I have talked to countless VTubers for well over a year now. I've met countless VTubers, talked to them, had conversations with them, and I know enough about the behind the scenes to know that a lot of the VTubers that make it all know or have at least practiced the art of voice acting or script writing or script reading, being able to act, that kind of thing. Now, I'm not saying what is being said to you, especially in regard to Gen 3. I am not saying that that's all been acted out to you. I am not saying that, okay? That being said, what I can tell you for certain is that as a VTuber, you have to bear in mind that most of the time, unless the VTuber is extremely candid with you about how they are and how they present themselves, most of the time you get the character of that person, and then you only get glimpses of who that person really is. Unlike, say, my channel, for example, I'm always upfront with you guys, and I always tell my listeners, you get 90% me, 10% lore. That's just the way it is in my space, and that's the way I run things. That's why my channel is always run the way it is. That's why you can come into my channel and we talk about other VTubers. Not because this is a place to slander other people. It's because my channel is open to the discussion of VTubers as a whole. And we talk about good things about other VTubers. We talk about positive things in my channel. We don't only talk about the negatives, all right? We talk about the positives too. And we can get to that right now. I mean, Irie, one of the former VTubers of Gen 3, she just had a very successful new re-debut on her channel. And I applaud her for being able to turn it around and have a successful re-debut on her channel. I mean, she hit over 200 concurrent viewers on her channel during her re-debut on her new channel as an independent. She surpassed well over $1,500 to be able to sponsor, to be able to get to fund getting a better live 2D model instead of the generic kind of general purpose live 2D model that she's using right now. Unfortunately, the VTuber models of the caliber that she did have while she was with Kawaii, or they typically run about 4K. So, and that includes design, rigging, so on and so forth. So, let's see here. Please get help. I am not trying to troll or anything. I'm genuinely concerned. No sane person would rant about something like this unless they are mentally unwell. So you are concerned about my well-being because I am ranting about VTubers in general, or ranting about Charlotte, or ranting about Kawaii? Which one are you referring to specifically? I would like to know. So I would like to respond to your statements, but I want to know specifically, because the context of what you're saying is very very important to how I respond to it. The whole thing, you are turning a 4-sentence tweet into an hour-long stream, plus those long rants on Twitter. Okay. So here's the thing. The fact that you are only seeing a 4-sentence tweet is partly why I am making an hour-long stream, because the 4-sentence tweet that you see here on Twitter does not provide the context nor the history behind what actually happened. And so people like you only see the 4-sentence tweet. Okay? The 4-sentence tweet itself completely diminishes what actually happens, and does not provide any context, and provides basically her a cheap way of being able to gain credibility at my expense. It's like saying, you know, it doesn't matter that, you know, it doesn't matter that during that time frame something extremely bad happened to you. The fact is that, you know, you acted out during that time frame, and I was in the vicinity and it affected me. So, you know, you're a bad person, and you should be ashamed of yourself. But this is not what life is about. Well, see, that's the it's definitely not what life is about, and I'm not the one that even brought it up. See, that's the whole point. I have literally, you know, I can make an hour video on this. I can make an hour video on this, drop it, and never come back to it. Right? I didn't even think about this entire situation until Charlotte brought it up. Charlotte was the one that hung on to this bitterness about the whole situation and then used it against me at this particular moment. I didn't give it another thought, because at the time I was too busy dealing with life. All right? And that's the problem. You know, she wanted to use that particular instance against me. So I'm responding to it. And she said, you know, if I'm going to be, unless it's a video that I'm going to be making, I shouldn't be using the tag. So I'm making a video about it. Right. But there's more to it. This is not about what life is about. Why are you sharing trauma with people on the internet? Why am I sharing trauma with people on the internet? Because number one, that's a good question. That's a very good question. And let me respond to it. Okay. Number one, like I've said before, I don't have family. I don't have family. My father was literally the only family I have, and he was dealing with my mother. Okay, and then there's me who was dealing with mom. Otherwise, I don't have family. I suffer from massive neurological pain due to a massive back injury. And again, I am disclosing personal trauma to you to explain why I disclose personal trauma to people on the internet, which is kind of ironic, right? So I suffered a catastrophic back injury that left me mostly unable to walk. Okay. I can barely walk. I have blown out two areas in my back. I've had 5 back surgeries, and I still can barely walk. I used to be able to work until the fusion in my back literally broke, and now I can't. I work from home. I can barely go outside. I can only go outside for a couple hours before I'm in so much pain. I have to literally come back home, and then I'm stuck at home. So basically, I'm stuck at home for roughly 20 hours a day. So having a social life, pretty much no. So when I talk to people on the internet. So do you feel where my social life is right now? I get it. No, I get it. I get it. I really get it. I do get it. But you know what? Here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. You see Knight in the chat. You see Oreo in the chat. You see there's several others in the chat. You see those other guys that are talking. See, they've been with me for well over a year now, and they know what I've been going through, and they understand, and they keep coming back, and there's nothing they can do, but yet they still encourage me, and they still support me, and they still keep coming back, and we hang out, right? And you're only gonna find people like that, once in a blue moon. But there's still people like that out there. And yeah, sharing that kind of stuff on the internet, yeah, you're gonna find people who are like, it doesn't involve me, right? However, here's the thing: when you are a visible public figure, and someone is in your audience or in attendance, and they're in visible mental or emotional distress, you cannot simply go meh and expect them not to react poorly. That's the difference between what you're talking about and what I'm talking about. Okay? So here's, and let's slow down, okay? That's the difference. When you come into my chat, when anybody has come into my chat, and I know that several of my listeners, that my recurring and returning listeners can vouch for this. When something bad has happened to them, and there's several of them that can vouch for this as well. and they come in and they say, Marko, I need someone to listen to me because I you know, I'm having a bad day, or something bad's happened to me. I could be playing a game, right? Or I could be talking about something different. And I'll be like, hey, you know what? We're right in the middle of doing this right now, but after we're finished, I'll be more than happy to listen to you. Or if it's something that can wait, we could take it to Discord, or you can DM me or whatever. Or if I'm right in the middle of something that I can put on hold, then I can do that. But I never ever dismiss my listener, or dismiss the fact or the feelings that they feel, even if I cannot reciprocate them or be able to respond to them in kind, or be able to be able to understand the feeling. You never dismiss them, because the moment you dismiss them, you're degrading them. You're putting them down. You're literally putting them beneath you. And you can't do that when you're in the public eye, especially if you're aspiring to be an idol, for crying out loud. You can't do that. Hey, you know what? That's perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming in and sharing your opinion. I do think you have a lot of valid points, and I do understand what you're saying. I am giving you my response to those points. No, really, I do want to thank you. You know why? Because I want to go back to one of your earlier points. Hey, don't fight. Don't fight. Okay? Don't fight. But I do want to go back to one of your earlier points, okay? Hey, if you're still here, don't go yet. Because I want to tell you one last thing before you go, okay? You still here? Don't fight, all right? Don't fight. Please don't fight. Because I don't want to ban anybody. I want you to listen to me first, okay? So I want to go back to one of your earlier points. Before you go, you said, you should go get help, right? You did say that. And I do want to let you know that, after that whole fallout thing with Charlotte, and she typed all this stuff, right? And she's like, that you acted all toxic and whatnot. I do want to tell you, and I want to tell her too, and you can tell her this. If she listens to you in chat and whatnot, I mean, you can tell her this, and I'm perfectly fine with you telling her this. I did go get help. I did go get bereavement counseling. That's why I'm a lot more chill now when I talk, especially when I'm talking in front of you right now and talking about this. Yeah, I have spent an hour talking about this, but you know what? I mean, that's my choice. And I choose to talk about this because she's the one that brought it up. But I did go get counseling for it. That's why I'm able to talk about, what happened, talk about my mother without crying, without, being mad about her passing away and all that stuff. The 7 stages of grieving and whatnot. But I'm in a much better place now than I was a year ago, because I went and got help. I went and got counseling for bereavement. I went and saw all the smart people that that specialize in that kind of thing, and it did help. it did help. It helped. It helped mend a broken heart and a broken man that lost somebody extremely special that brought me into this world, right? So I want you to know that. If there's anything that you want to take out of this stream, I want you to know that I did go get help. And you can make fun of me all that you want. That's your choice. That's your, if you want to spend time mocking me, that's your choice. If you want to be like some of these other yahoos here, some of these other jokers that mock me, go right ahead. Because like you said, I've spent an hour talking about this, and that's an hour's worth of YouTube content over, like you said, a 4-sentence tweet. What does that say? Huh? Who's the smart person here? Really? Right? So, moving on. You have a good day, all right? And I do thank you for stopping in. All right. So, if we want to move on to a little bit more positive news here, though. Yes, Irie did have her mini debut stream here with her temporary model, and she was very successful with it. Again, she did surpass 200 concurrent viewers earlier today. That's why I initially had postponed the video presentation that I was going to do today, because I wanted to keep it positive, and that unfortunately that was before I saw what Charlotte had tweeted out to me, and I felt it only appropriate that I do a response video to her, which is what you guys are attending right now. So, but also I do want to also say that the artist formerly known as Sava has also been doing rather well, despite the fact that I think she's also battling a major case of depression on the side as well, at least from what I can tell, on a personal level. But she at least does seem to be fighting that and being able to do some streams, and she did her traditional "Here I Am Eating Soap" stream yesterday, which was very kind of unique, if not unexpected. But she was complaining of not feeling well today, which again was not totally unexpected. But she does seem to be doing okay, at least, and I believe she's somewhere between, I think, a fifth and a fourth, so between 20 to 25% towards her goal of also being able to afford a live 2D model. But her temporary model is actually pretty nice, so I don't know if I think she wants to get one that suits her better, but the one that she has right now isn't bad either, so we'll see how that goes. The two that I'm most concerned about are the ones that have not really done much publicly at this point, and that would be our resident banana girl, Ela. There is so much love and attention that she's been getting, so through Twitter and other forms of social media, which I think is finally starting to sink in and reach her. But that being said, she has been extremely depressed as of with everything that's happened, and it's, I'm rather speechless in a lot of sense, because I read a lot of what's being said, both from them and from on a personal and public level, and then also what's being said publicly in other areas and whatnot, and the context of everything is so drastically different, on both levels, and when you start comparing what is in common in order to separate what is speculation, and what's not, there's actually very little that is that's in common with one another, and that's what makes videos and streams like what I do extremely important, and for that matter, being able to separate the truth from the speculation is what we did best, especially with the entire Russia incident last year, because when you have this much chatter that's coming out of one organization, and I'm gonna give you the best example that I can possibly give you, okay? When I my current profession is working IT, all right? I have worked as a contractor in IT, and I've worked as a contractor for local and state law enforcement, and I've worked with sheriff's departments and with local city law enforcement offices. And so I've talked to a lot of deputies and a lot of deputy sheriffs and whatnot. And one of the things that they always tell us, told me when I went in for my concealed carry certifications, was that they just love to bring in a suspect, sit him down, and then sit there in a quiet room with them, and they'll just sit there with them for hours and not say anything. And I looked at them really, really puzzled, and I'm like, why don't you say anything, right? And they're like, well, it's simple. You sit there and you don't say anything, and you look at them and you stare at them, and then you write in your notebook a little bit, and then you look at them again, and then maybe you write a little bit more, and then they start getting nervous, and then they get to the point where they start talking, and then once you start getting them talking, they start spilling everything, and without saying a word, they start spilling everything that you need to hear, regardless of whether or not you've said anything or not. And then after they spill everything that they can possibly talk about, you're able to take that back, and then you're able to separate what they've said and then pick out all the things that you need to know about in order to find out what you needed to hear in the first place. And that's exactly what we're hearing and getting from Production Kawaii right now. Because Production Kawaii put out their press release, and then now we've had their talents over and over and over come out publicly and doing all this talk, right? And these four ladies, they're doing their own thing, and they're doing, getting their own stuff ready. They're you know, they all seem to be really excited, you know, and really you know, trying to work their hardest and getting all this stuff that ready for their you know, ungraduations, re-debuts, you know, getting banners and thumbnails and all this other stuff ready like that, you know. And for them, it's you know, even though it's stressful, it's also an exciting time period for them. So you know, we've had 2 of the 4 that have re-debuted. I know that she is slated to re-debut the 14th, so that's in 2 days. So that will be on a Friday. And then let's see, Speaka, I believe she is going to re-debut. Did she put out a re-debut? She has not put out a new debut yet, and I don't know. I've been kind of worried about her a bit, but I mean, I've been also kind of like holding off on like saying anything just to kind of see where it all plays out. But yeah, she's also been talking about like you know, needing to graduate her model and everything like that. So I don't know if she's working with the with her mama and papa on that again, or my current design is not something I chose for myself. So oh, that's from April 11th. Yeah, so that was yesterday. So I think she's still working on a lot of that stuff. So anyways, it's still going to be exciting. And you know, the rumor between the 3 of them is that at least 3 of them will be doing a collab here after all 3 of them, or at least the 3 of the 4 of them have debuted. They're gonna try to get all 4 of them somehow. That's the that, and you know, you've heard it here, but you didn't hear it from here. I heard it. I heard it from our soap eating friend, and our soap eating friend kind of sort of did not leak it, but she kind of sort of did. But she kind of sort of did not say that they're hopeful to get everyone together here in the near future. I think that they were aiming towards the end of the month if possible. So it at least sounds like, you know, they didn't go their entire separate ways after everything. They're going to try to stay tight knit. I don't know if they're going to, you know, actually be like an entire group together and stay together that way, or if they're going to be like separate but together, that kind of thing. But if tonight was any indication, I think that they are going to be very strong with their support groups. I mean, to have 200 people to tune in for your debut after everything that happened is still pretty good for a strong turnout. And bear in mind, her content typically averaged around 1,000 views a day, and when I last looked before I started streaming, she was already at about 700 views, just at the end of her stream. So that is not bad for debuting. So yeah, that pretty much ends everything that I had planned on talking about, even though I did not plan on doing this. This was a very, very much a guerrilla style stream, but Charlotte Suzu, you essentially challenged me to this making an apology video. So this is as much of an apology video as you're gonna get from me in regards to what happened in 2021. And any of your apologists that did come into the audience or are still sitting in the audience that support you, you can let her know that I will apologize for any of the acting out that you feel and she feels or it was inappropriate. However, do I regret it? Not in a bit. Because I don't remember it. I really don't. I can't regret something I don't remember. And quite frankly, you know, when you go into that kind of bereavement mode, it is a literal form of you could say insanity, psychosis, whatever you want it, however you want to diagnose it. You're not going to think straight. But I will tell you this. You try to use that against me again, I will make more videos like this again. And I will keep responding to you in kind again, like this. Because I do not appreciate the fact that you want to use something like my mother's death and how I responded to it, and the fact that you were so cold in response to it, when in fact I had so many other people that are well above your popularity, but mildly, respond so much more kindly and generously, when all you had to do was pretty much just, be kind. It's not that hard to be kind, to be nice. It takes a little bit of kindness, a little bit of understanding. How about this? It takes a little bit of tolerance and recognition to know, hey, he just lost somebody. Yeah. Or you know what? You have your that entire fanboy group of yours that you always talk to most in chat, that you're so tight knit with, that you always turn to first with every single thing that possibly happens in your chat. Why not ask one of them, hey, you know what, Marko is oh man, you think you could talk to him a little bit? Or maybe have one of your boys in that fan group step up. Have one of them step up instead of, logging onto one of their zombie Twitter accounts and acting like a child and attacking me from one of their accounts. You could do that. One of your boys can do that. One of you guys could do that. You guys could do that. You could do that. Just saying. All right. So, we're done with that. We are definitely done with that. So, tomorrow, since I do seem to have prodded the proverbial bull with the title and thumbnail of my live stream, perhaps instead of doing a live stream in lieu of that, perhaps I will pre-record it and then upload it instead of doing it live, because that way it can be a lot more cheerful and we can return to regularly scheduled programming, and I can either stream a game or something which makes more people happy. We can definitely do try to finish Atomic Heart, and you know, we got the Kami twin sisters that I still haven't fought yet. So that's an option, and I think that will calm the nerves of a lot of people out there, because I think there's a lot of nerves that are really afraid that I'm gonna shred you know, some people apart, and they're like on pins and needles, ready to retaliate. You'd love a chill stream, but you know, I like chill streams too. The only thing is, see, when your boy does chill streams, your boy also doesn't get a lot of views when he does chill streams, because people do like controversy, and unfortunately, you know what? But controversy drains your boy just as much as you know, you and me both don't like doing controversy. I don't like controversy, but unfortunately, controversy brings the views. I don't honestly, I don't care either way. But you know, the thing is, the views also follow the controversy, and I honestly, though, I prefer to do the chill stream, so I'm probably going to just pre-record it like I did with the entire Rushia video from last year, and then upload it. That way we can kind of avoid that thing, and then people can, you know, can VOD it whenever they want, and then they can thumbs down it, and then turn it off after a minute or two, that kind of thing. And then we can, you know, do Atomic Heart, or heck, we can even see tomorrow morning. Yeah, tomorrow morning. I will not be able to. Unfortunately, I will not be able to live stream the participation games that I typically do on Thursdays, due to doctor's appointment, since I have to get injections done into my wrist for the neurological damage I have in my wrist. So that is going to be next week, but tomorrow evening I should be able to do something. So I'll have to put up a room tomorrow evening at some point. But then I basically just need to record and edit the video. So that may go up Friday instead. Something like that. Anyways. Yeah. So we will yeah. So there you have it though. I mean, look. I don't like being mean. I don't like being mean. I really don't. I can be mean. I can be mean, but I'd rather just be chill. Honestly, I'd rather just be chill. Because, you know, honestly, I'd rather just have a good time, you know? I mean, that's what I want. That's why I started streaming. Cuz I wanted to have a good time. You know, if I got popular, fine, whatever. But if I you know, I wanted to have a good time. But, you know, if you want to take something away from this, you know, positive, anything positive away from this, take this away from this, all right? The fact of the matter is, you know, you can call me out on this kind of stuff. I'm only human. I have made thousands upon thousands upon thousands of mistakes. I have screwed up more times than I can even count. And chances are, if you're going to accuse me of doing something, I probably did it. Alright? Unless that's something completely gross and illegal, then no. But if it's something like screwing up, yeah, I might have done it. Alright? Sorry, I'm human. Yeah, I can react and I can overreact. I'm only human. And humans have a breaking point. And you cannot claim that you would act any differently if you were in my position. And if you can, that means that you either have no empathy or you plain just don't care about humanity or human values. And if you're at that point, I feel sorry for you. Because the day that you stop feeling anything for another person is the day that you really stop being a human being. And that's why I care about every person that walks in through my chat. Even the guy that came in here and was, like, no, I'm not trolling you, but you need help. Why do you think I was so nice to him? Let me ask you, even the ones that are lurking in the audience, why do you think I was so nice to him? Why do you think I gave him a chance to explain himself? Why do you think I thanked him for being here and sharing their opinion? Even though that person ran off to go watch Suzu, and I told them, you can tell Charlotte exactly what I said. Why do you think I said that? Because I care about human beings. I care about people. I'm not so shallow that I only look at you as a number. You 11, 12, 13 people that are in the audience right now, including the lurkers, you're not numbers to me. Alright? Even though there's only like 4 people that are talking, you're not a number to me. You never were, never are. You're more than that. Remember that. Even if you never say anything, you're not a number to me. Okay? So I'll let you guys know tomorrow what I'm gonna stream, whether it be I really want to finish Atomic Heart, or at least try to get as close to the ending as possible, because I mean, like, we're like getting to like the really good parts of it. At least it feels like it is. Where I feel like we're getting towards to like a climax of something. So I really want to keep playing that, but oh man, I ran out of time tonight. I spent all afternoon prepping, and I was going to farm. I was going to try to farm materials, but I ran out of time. I'm not gonna have time tomorrow either. Well, I'll probably have time before I stream, at least to try to do some farming. Let's try to do Atomic Heart tomorrow, and like I said, I will try my best to get the live stream that I was going to do ready for in video format at 7. And if I'm not able to, I'll make an announcement that it's going to be done in video format, and then delay it, and then we'll just do the game instead. And I'll explain why. I don't want the I don't want to stoke the I don't want to stoke the toxicity. But at the same time, I do want to share exactly what I'm seeing with all this. So, but I do want to do this tactfully. Yeah. Unless something happens between tonight and tomorrow, I will lay everything out in a post in the community tab tomorrow morning on how everything is going to play out tomorrow. Let's do it that way. I will lay everything out in a community post tomorrow on how everything is going to play out, and then I will also share that info on Twitter. That way, everyone knows exactly how things are going to play out. If I end up changing the format of how things play out tomorrow, I will share, what is going to be done in what format in that community post, and then share it also on Twitter. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so yeah, we do everything professional here, professional ahead of time, and publicly announced 24 hours in advance. We do everything completely scuffed and guerrilla style around here. That's how we define professionalism around here, damn it. No, but I do promise you we will get back to having a good time. A good chill time, and we will get through this. I know that at least for my regulars, you guys are tired of seeing a lot of our our dear friends and our dear VTubers going through this type of stuff, and we just want to have fun and good times. However, I do hope you understand that it is in many ways my responsibility as a VTuber and as their colleague and friend to speak out for those who cannot have a voice at this time. And I would hope that you would appreciate it if I was speaking for or speaking out in defense of a VTuber that you care about, if they were in the same situation. Even if I'm only talking to 100, 200 people, at least I'm saying something, and that is the most important thing. it doesn't matter the size of the audience per se. It's, you know, a matter that somebody is saying something. Because I'd rather speak to a wall like the meme than not say anything at all. Because I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I didn't say anything. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways. So, tomorrow, again, I won't be able to stream any of the participation stuff in the morning, but I will post what I will be able to, what format we'll be able to do stuff for in the community tab and on Twitter. And then on Friday Hoshinon is actually doing her Minecraft community stream on Friday, so I will send her a DM tonight asking her if I can stream my perspective to for Friday. She will probably say yes, but I will ask for permission just in case. And then Saturday, she's doing her Splatoon participation stream. I will also ask her for permission to stream that. I believe she's doing Salmon Run on that day. I'll have to double check. If she doesn't do Salmon Run, then we'll be doing the regular 4 versus 4 battle thing, but I think it's gonna be Salmon Run. But I'll ask for permission. Yeah. So, other than that, yeah, we will try to get back to regularly scheduled programming unless something else does come up. If something does come up, I will stream about it. Otherwise, if it's something minor, it will likely just be a blurb in the community tab or a small short video or a post on Twitter. Otherwise, yes, we will try to do our best to get back to regularly scheduled chilled programming and let sleeping dogs lie. So, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the monologue. I know this has been long, much longer than I had planned on talking because I was just planning on saying my piece and then leaving. And of course, you know me, I tend to talk long. Yeah, that's another thing about me. Yeah, if you know anything about me or don't know anything about me, I do tend to ramble. So that is another thing that if you don't know me, yes, I ramble. Haha. But that also helps because it adds to my streaming time. So yeah, take that. Thank you, algorithm. Yeah. Yeah, speaking of algorithm, yeah, please like, share, and subscribe if you like and enjoy my content. Okay, there we go. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in. I know that a lot of people don't like what I talked about tonight. I do apologize for if I did trample upon your Oshi. Unfortunately, like I said at the very top of the hour, your Oshi did more or less call me out on, because she saw that I had tagged her and was making a video, and she said unless it's a video about an apology, I shouldn't be making it. So Suzu, here was your apology video and more. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, this is as much as you're gonna get from me. And if you're gonna complain about it, guess what? I can always make another video and get more views, likes, and mileage from it. Your choice. You're only going to help me. And you're going to be proving your boys wrong by actually giving me more views and watch time. So, I leave that ball in your court. Love you. Okay, so better late than never. Thank you so much for dropping in. Night, thank you so much for dropping in. Mako, I'm sorry to see you make Suzu worried. Don't worry, Mako-san. Mako-san, it's okay. Suzu is Suzu is being Suzu, and it is okay. Everything will be okay. Knight, thank you so much for dropping in. Oreo, thank you so much for dropping in. Picogram, again, thank you so much for your input and coming in and sharing your opinions on things. CJ, thank you so much for dropping in. And Umberto, thank you so much for dropping in. Sami-sama, thank you so much for dropping in. Alvin, thank you so much for dropping in. Everyone that lurked, whether you are a subscriber or not, thank you so much for being here and dropping in. I appreciate you guys being here. Yes, so that is the end. Thank you. Have a good afternoon, evening, or night, whatever it may be in your local time zone. Until then, this is Marko Yamashita signing off. Peace.